Hey, what's up, guys? This is Shane, Kindred Dog PDX, and this video is about leadership. So, before we even start training, asking for sits and downs and recalls and all of those things, we can really do a lot before we do that formal training, right? So, our dogs, they want good stuff. They just want to do things. They want everything that's going to be make them feel good and that they enjoy, right? And that's awesome, right? There's definitely nothing wrong with that. However, if the dog is able to fulfill all of those things like on their own, what are we to the dog? Okay? They're able to free feed, they go get their food, they go chew on their toys, they go scratch the door, we let them out, they run outside, they go do whatever they do outside. And then when they come back in, they paw at the door. We're like, oh, if the dog wants in, we let him back in. Like, what are we to the dog? Are we someone that they look to for guidance, or are we just inhabiting the same space together and we're of real no relevance to the dog? Besides being like a food dispenser, putting it in the bowl, getting a sit, and then putting it down, and then they release them to go eat it, and then they just get all of the food right there in this little bowl. So it's like, what are we to the dog in these moments? We're the playing field is probably more like so, right? Like, instead of it even being like, ideally we're up here and like the dog's like looking to us for like, hey, you're freaking awesome, right? Or is it like, hey, you're all right at times? Or like, yeah, I only come to you when I need something. And so, like, I want to be a part of the dog's like day in life. And so, leadership, right? Like, being a guide to your dog. Some folks don't like that word leadership. I don't know. Be a guide, right? How do you be a guide to someone? Like, are you respected by the dog? Does the dog trust you? Does the dog want to do things with you? Or do they want to go do everything else that they want, right? So, how do you build up leadership with your dog? How do you take this role? Well, the easiest thing to do is to take control of resources, right? Food, toys, movement, space, just all the things that the dog enjoys. Take control of the resources and how they are, like how accessible they are to the dog, right? So if I have all the toys on the ground and my dog loves to just go and destroy all the toys in a matter of moments, it's like, I'm going to pick those toys up, and then I'm going to bring one out, and either I'm going to engage with the dog. Hey, it's fetch time, it's tug time, and we're going to play the game for a little bit, and then the game is going to end. Likewise, I'm like, hey, this is your favorite little fluffy chew thingy, like whatever it is. Here, I'm going to give this to you for a little bit of time, but then after 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to take that away. Oh, hey, you want your bone? I'll let you chew on your bone for a little while, but then I'm going to remove that bone. I become the gateway to these resources that the dog finds valuable, right? So now it's like, I don't know when they're showing up, but that person brings it out. And I like that person. And I like those things, right? And then at the same time, it's going to make these things more valuable because they're just not always available, okay? And so the same thing can be said with like space, right? Does the dog go outside, run around, take forever to go to the bathroom? It starts digging maybe, like, I don't know. But it's like we can take advantage of that space too. Hey, I'm going to actually put you on a leash and I'm going to take you outside and we're going to stand there until you go to the bathroom. Are you going potty? Excellent. Now, maybe I don't let you off the lead. Maybe I do, right? Maybe you don't have all the space to pull me around, but instead I'm actually going to be a tree, and it's like, you got this much room to go. And then when the dog earns the privileges, hey, guess what? You can have more of this space. And so it's like just being aware of what the dog finds valuable and then taking control of those moments. Hey, you know what? Maybe you're walking and you're seeing your dog wants to go like smell those bushes over there. And so instead of just like being dragged to the bushes, you're like, hey, I see you want those. We're going to wait. We're going to chill so you're not acting impulsive. And then the dog's going to go, and you're going to go ahead. You may go sniff those bushes now, right? Again, it's a resource. The dog wants it, and I don't want to withhold it, but it's like, it's how you get it. Yeah, go ahead. Go for it, right? And so, same thing can be said with food, right? Do you free feed the dog? The food is always available. Guess what? Here's a food bowl. If I'm going to feed you out of the food bowl, you got a couple of minutes to eat. If you don't eat it all, food goes up, food disappears. It comes back at next mealtime. Even better, you can make the dog work for their food, right? It's not just a freebie thing. That these were like natural animals. Every animal works for their food. They have to search for it. They have to do something to in order to eat. But our pets, they just are randomly handed food. Here you go. Oh, you didn't even eat your whole bowl. Let me add some banana. Let me add a bunch of stuff into this thing to try to convince you to eat these things. But instead, it's like, hey, you know what? I'm actually going to work you for your food. You don't want to eat? Cool. Food's going to go away. But then with the next mealtime, I'm going to break it out again. And we're going to do these same things again. So therefore, you're like, hey, oh, this is where this food comes from. This guy, this person right there. Oh, all right. Interesting. The dog's going to start to take a different view of you when you start taking control of the resources. Okay? The same thing can be said throughout the whole house, right? Does your dog like to get on the couch? Cool, that's fine. But how does the dog go on the couch, right? Do you always want the dog on the couch? Does the dog come off the couch when you ask them to? So it's like, you know what? That couch is a resource. And I'm going to take control of that resource. Dog comes up on the couch. Hey, off. If they don't come off, I'm going to have a leash on them and I'm going to get them off the couch. And it's like, you don't get on the couch without permission. And then I'm going to reinforce that rule, right? I'm going to take control of this resource. Hey, nope, it's not yours. Not for you to just to go and take. In a little bit, I'll invite you up on the couch. Maybe I don't, though. Likewise, it could be about the kitchen. You're cooking some food in the kitchen. The dog wants to come in to pick up the scraps of food, smell everything. You know what? Hey, this is a resource, and I'm taking control. Out of the kitchen. And then I'm gonna reinforce this. If I can't reinforce this, guess what? I'm gonna put the dog in the crate, or I'm gonna put him on place. If they don't know that, then you know what? I gotta put him in place, or in a crate. I mean, but I gotta take control of the resources, so therefore the dog will start paying more attention to me. And it's not about being mean or a jerk or anything. It's just how the dog goes about getting the things that they want. Again, I don't want to withhold anything from them, but it's like time and place, right? I and that's probably the best way to think of it. There's time and place for everything. It's not always playtime. It's not always chew time. It's not always go run around outside in the back. It's not always like, hey, running back and forth through the doggy door. And so take control of the resources. Start being a part of the dog's, like, their life, right? Have them show you that they're like, hey, I like you and I want to do things with you. So it's like if they're able to fulfill all of their wants and needs without you, what are you to the dog? And so the hardest part about this is the human emotion that gets attached to all of these things, right? And then at the same time, it also goes about like not taking the easy path, right? It's doing things like the longer route. So it's like this may be taking your dog outside to go to the bathroom on a leash instead of just letting them run around outside. This may be doing some focused effort and stuff instead of just taking them to the dog park and letting them drain their energy. And so, think about long-term goals, the big picture of things. If we focus on the big picture, we can work towards something and things will start to progress towards something. But if we always start thinking in the short term, which is more emotional, we're going to be stuck in the same thing. This feels good in this moment. But you do all these other things that I don't like. But however, in this moment, this feels good and I want to do this. So think about the big picture. And when you think about the big picture and we start implementing things, we can start to see progress. So Take control of the resources. Take control of the things that the dog wants and needs, and you be the gateway to those things, and the dog will start to acknowledge you more. All right? The dog will start to respect you a bit more. The dog will start to trust you a bit more, because that's how you're going to start building up a better relationship with the dog. All right? So I hope that helps, and we'll see you all in the next video.